Hello, this is Tracy Whitworth, and I'm going to present to you personal ownership of medical data. This is my prototype project for HCI 544. So, Greg, as a consumer for the healthcare system and a person that recently went through trying to find a primary care physician, and you expressed to me how frustrating that was regarding all the redundancy and paperwork that you had to complete. Um, I have a idea I'd like to pitch, and I would really like your feedback on whether or not you feel that this would be of any service to you in the future.
Sounds good. Let's do it. Sounds good. Let's do this.
So it's pretty evident in today's society that when one is in search of a new primary care physician or any physician in healthcare, that it can be quite a overwhelming undertaking for most. So in this particular example, um, patient is in search of a new primary care physician. Patient would then call that physician's office and set up an appointment. Usually they're going to be told that they need to arrive anywhere from 15 to 20 minutes or even more earlier. At that point, patient would then ask the actual primary care physician's office or the physician's office they're talking to if they're a member of a service called HealthBook. They would say yes, they are. Patient is then told that they can arrive at their normally scheduled book time instead of arriving earlier, as had been previously told. So HealthBook, what that is, it's an actual mobile phone web portal application for accessing personal medical records. This is a system that is owned by the actual um, patient themselves, as they are the owners of those medical records. And what that would basically mean is it would be a device that could be accessed through their mobile device, such as their tablet or their phone, or even at their personal computer, where they can put in a username and password. And as you can see here, they would hit enter. If they happen to put the wrong password in or username in, they can hit the back button like you would on most devices. That would then take you to this screen where you would do a physician search. And namely, that what that entails is just entering the last name and whatever the specialty. So if it's orthopedist or if it's a general internist, you would just put that specialty in there as well, and then hit enter. And again, you have the selection for back if you need to, the back button to go back to the previous screen. At which point you would then get a list of physicians that you could grant access to. What the beauty of this program is also is that because you are the ownership of the records, you can set a time limitation for the amount of time you want that healthcare provider to have access. You can also revoke that access at any time as well. You can also have them have limited access. So if you don't want them to have, as it's stated here, release of all information for all records, you could state imaging only, or you could state, you know, uh, primary care, records only, whatever records you want them to only have, lab work, etc. You are the definitive person to grant that access. The other great thing about this too is you could also have your advanced directives uploaded onto that site as well, which is something that is very important for the medical providers to have access to, especially if you're in a crisis situation. So that's also a nice feature as well. So if you've completed the granting the approval time frame, then the physician will get their notification on their end that is going to help them differentiate between their new patients and existing patients. That way they're going to know that they have access to the records. The physician can then immediately go and upload those records into their system and begin to review the items that are pertinent to whatever your visit's going to be for. That way they can be fully prepared. They can start anticipating what your needs are going to be. And the idea is that your visit will be a much more smooth, streamlined process, and you'll have a much more better experience. So you might say, still not seeing all of the complete benefits of this. Well, some of the things to consider are um, as you grant access to the physician's office electronically, the physician is able to review the information prior to you being seen. Um, you would be able to arrive at your scheduled arrival time instead of having to go in earlier and complete that paperwork that's redundant, as we had discussed earlier, and then thereby being taken back for your assessment or your appointment on time. And this should prevent any long delays that are going to be avoided due to the challenges that are currently seen by either incomplete records or inaccurate records, as you all will be able to review your records and be able to immediately let your physicians know if you see anything that doesn't seem clear to you. And the physicians, again, normally don't have the ability to read records thoroughly prior to, because often they're just getting them prior to you arriving. If they're lucky, often they may not even have them at that visit. So that is also going to allow you to have a much more thorough assessment and walk out of that doctor's appointment with a clear understanding of where your health lies at that particular moment. So how does that sound to you?
This is exactly what I'm looking for. Last time I went to the doctor's office, I spent another 30 minutes at least filling out more information that I filled out in the past, and then trying to think back through years of information I already have, and it was very inconvenient. So having it all stored in one location where I can just give it to whichever doctors I feel or that I'm seeing that need the data and not having to do the same things over and over again, I'd love this. And I like getting it from my mobile phone because I'm a mobile guy. This is awesome.